From the KWQC studio, this is TV6 News at 10.
They lost their homes, they lost their businesses, and it's a tragedy.
Your top story, a search for survivors continues in the rubble left behind after storms sparked a string of deadly tornadoes across the Midwest and Southeast. Dozens are dead and hundreds are injured from the storms. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Montserrat. This is the aftermath in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Illinois. We start in Edwardsville, Illinois, where the death toll has risen to 6. This was the scene at the Amazon warehouse where nearly 50 workers were injured after the building was hit by a tornado last night. The twister knocked down 150 yards of the huge warehouse while workers were busy with the holiday rush. 45 people made it safely out of the building, with one person airlifted to a regional hospital for emergency treatment.
Please know that the people of Illinois stand with you. We are one Illinois. In this moment, and in the days, months, and years to come, you are not alone. We will stand with you to help you through your grief and then to honor your loved ones. May their memory be a blessing.
Officials say it's been hard to determine how many were inside the warehouse when the storm hit because the facility has no set staff. Officials say tonight efforts have moved to search and recovery.
Today, I'm asking you for your thoughts and prayers for the victims and their families, not only in our city and state, but also remembering those in Kentucky, Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, and Tennessee who are all suffering a great loss tonight.
The Edwardsville Fire Department says it will take at least 3 more days to completely search the collapsed building for any survivors. Kentucky seems to be the hardest hit, with the governor there fearing the death toll in the next few days could climb to 100 victims or more. One of the first deadly strikes was at a nursing home in rural Arkansas. That's where Jay Gray is tonight with a closer look at the tragedy.
Lightning reveals a massive funnel overnight. Daylight reveals the devastation left behind. Deep scars littered with debris from wrecked communities across 5 states after a string of reported tornadoes, 3 dozen or more, reducing homes and buildings to crumbled brick and mortar. A mess that stretches across the Midwest and Southeast. But this twisted metal, splintered wood, and shattered glass isn't the real loss here.
By the end of today or tomorrow, we will be north of at least 70 lives lost here in Kentucky. I think we will have lost more than 100 people.
The confirmed numbers aren't nearly that high, but teams fear what they will find as the search and recovery continues.
Somebody described it as a war zone. That's kind of what it looks like right now.
Survivors describing that battle with Mother Nature.
The windows start breaking, dogs flying through the air. I didn't know what to do. Walls feel like they was caving in. It was very scary.
Fear that's shifting now to the overwhelming pain from all that's lost. Jay Gray, NBC News, Monette, Arkansas.
Now, Alexis, this amount of tornadoes and this late into December isn't something that many expected, which is likely only adding to the devastation.
That's right. We were trying to prepare everyone days ahead as much as we could, but this was really more of a scenario for springtime. Unfortunately, it happened here closer to the middle of December. Back in March of 1925, there has been a deadly tornado called the Tri-State Tornado that happened in the middle of March that year and infected areas near Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. Its path was over 200 miles and it was on the ground for over 3.5 hours. Last night, this is what we're starting to hear now, quad state tornado, because there could have been a tornado that was continuously on the ground for Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, and Kentucky. We still need the National Weather Service to continue their surveys here over the next multiple days, but we are going to see the chance for the longest continuous tornado in the United States to now be from one last night. Devastating news from the southeast. As of right now, that cold front that did bring those stronger storms is well off to the east, and we are quiet here in the Quad Cities. 35 degrees right now for us here near Davenport. As we head up to the north, we are going to see that temperatures are into the 20s, about 26 degrees for Dubuque and Galena, 32 degrees for Mount Pleasant and Washington. And as we get into these overnight hours, we are going to drop a few degrees, upper 20s to the north and a few more low 30s near the Quad Cities and to the south. A nicer warm up over the next few days, so I'll be tracking that in just a few.
Christmas light shows are in full swing across the Quad Cities as the year comes to a close and the holidays are well underway. TV6's Hernan Gutierrez tells us how a Davenport family neighborhood transforms with over 70,000 lights.
It all started when Aubrey Call saw a Christmas commercial in 2009. 12 years later, the Call family continues to showcase their house for the whole neighborhood.
And when I was 15 years old, I asked my dad if we could do this to our house, and he said, sure, but I don't have any time to actually learn how to make it work, so I'll buy the stuff and you have to figure it out.
Aubrey works as a lighting technician for similar shows all across the country. It takes her more than 150 hours to set up. She says bringing her talents back to her hometown means the world to her.
It's been a long time, and it's grown so much, and we absolutely love doing it. This is where it all started, so I will work on this display as long as my parents continue to put it up.
It's not just a family affair, but neighbors help out to make sure the show runs smoothly.
We have the best neighbors ever. Like, they are so understanding of everything we do, and they try to help as much as they can. They're super gracious, and they love the shows too.
As far as how many cars come through, some years the family can't even keep count.
There was one year about 4 years ago where we kept tally marks of how many cars were coming through, and after a while we're like, we couldn't even count. Like, it's just not even worth it anymore. It's amazing. It's all the way down the street. We can't even count.
In Davenport, Hernan Gutierrez, TV6 News.
The Call Christmas light display runs shows every half hour each day, starting at 5:30 p.m. The last show starts at 10. They'll keep their displays up until New Year's Eve, and I've gone. It is just an incredible show, so definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. Bettendorf high schoolers raised hundreds of dollars today for this year's prom. A Saturday market was hosted by the school, the second one this year. Some of the vendors included middle and elementary school students, as well as other small businesses selling handcrafted items. A prom ticket can cost up to $300, but with this fundraiser, Bettendorf provides the event free for students.
It helps out the local businesses, a tough year after COVID. They need, as much business as they can get, and we're able to provide that and raise money for prom. So it's a win-win situation for everyone.
The money raised will be used to reserve a space at the Putnam Museum, as well as buy decorations for the event. The first annual Christmas in the Village was held at the Lincoln Center today with an emphasis on Kwanzaa and other African-American holiday traditions. Several Black-owned businesses and other local vendors had their holiday crafts on display today. The event also included a pop-up photo booth, free cocoa and cookies, and a visit from Santa Claus.
It gives others an opportunity to learn about our culture and why things were done the way they're done and why we do the things we do. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Organizers say they're excited to hold the event next year with plans for a live nativity scene as well as choir and band performances. The River Center hosted an indie arts festival for over 100 vendors from all over the QCA and Midwest. The Crafty Cat Festival featured many handcrafted items, ranging from original paintings and drawings to wooden carvings and ornaments. Vendors say even with supplies in high demand, events like the fair allow them to meet new customers each year.
Customers have been so great about just understanding or maybe picking a different flavor. As far as our popcorn goes, we have 30, 40 different flavors, so we try to give them different options instead of one.
16 kid vendors also sold their handmade items at the festival, some selling sewn cat toys and green cleaning products. Still to come tonight on your news at 10, a toy drive that will bring hundreds of toys and smiles to the Quad Cities. How a community partnership for an annual event is loading trucks full of toys.
And temperatures to the southeast of the Quad Cities are closer to 25 to near 30 degrees cooler compared to this time yesterday. We are going to have a warming trend through the middle of this next work week. I have the details in just a few.
KWQC TV 6.